And so, hello to all of you on the live stream and in the Zoom meeting here with me. Thank you all for joining us. These Zoom meetups are the public-facing part of the VidWheel Creator Network. What is the VCN? It's an online video community that draws on my experience and the experiences of everyone in the community to guide solopreneurs through the process of making video work for their businesses while avoiding the pitfalls. If you find that intriguing and you like the type of content that you hear today, I'd love to have a chat with you. There is a in the live stream of the in the live stream notes, you can find a Calendly link. You can go ahead and book a time with me there if you want to do that. And I will also drop it in the chat for folks after I'm done with this little intro thing. For people who are here live. If that's a little bit too personal, we've also got a resources page, which is also in the live stream, resources.vidwheel.com. Feel free to check that out if you're just kind of getting started with video and want to learn a few more things. And one more thing, the live stream is a great preview of a VidWheel Creator Network Zoom meetup. But if you want to get the full experience, join us in meeting for our next meeting, which is on Thursday, August 4th at 8 p.m. Eastern. It features podcast producer Carl Richards, and Carl will be kicking off our first videos month, presenting Get Video Podcast Ready, 5 myths holding you back from success. That's available to sign up for at events.vidwheel.com, which you can sign up for any of our events at that spot. Let's see, that's also in the live stream description. Okay, so now let's get to it. It is TikTok month, and with us we have TikToker Kirsten Granados. Kirsten, is that a good way to intro you? TikToker, or do you want me to elaborate on that?
I am a strategist. I'm not just a content creator there myself, that I have my business, but I have a business that I help clients win with.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Okay, so I lost my notes. That's a good intro. And if you want to go any deeper, Sorry, I'm having some live stream issues. If you want to go a little deeper into the intro of what you do as a strategist and where you, kind of spend your time in that space, that would be great.
Yes, exactly. So hello, everyone. My name is Kirsten Granados. I am a TikTok strategist, and I help brands, particularly B2B and some B2C, to blow up on TikTok and monetize their traffic with passive recurring traffic through there. So I help them to grow their brand and really understand how to convert that traffic to get more inbound lead gen. In terms of brands that I've helped with before, so to give a little bit about my background, I grew my own account to 60,000 followers in the financial space because by trade, so I'm in the financial consulting space for personal finance. I've been in that space for a little over 6 years myself. So I had some founders on LinkedIn start to ask me for help and support. So after that, late last year, we've helped some brands that actually had been featured on Shark Tank before beat their sales record from when they aired on Shark Tank through TikTok, helped them gain over 5 million views. And we've helped a few brands in terms of also business owners launch new offers as well. So it's been excited to be here with you all and to chat about all things TikTok and monetization.
There you go. Yeah. So TikTok over Shark Tank. I like it. That's a great start, right? And Shark Tank's fun to watch, but you can have success in a lot of different ways. So here's my first question for you, Kirsten, and feel free to drop questions in the chat or use the little hand raise icon if you're interested in asking a question. But as a TikTok user, how do you primarily use it? You're saying to monetize it. I don't know. How do you get there? How do you monetize?
So the monetization is as a creator, as a content creator on there. So typically business owners, they create content that drives traffic to their website. So you want to create content that speaks about the symptoms, usually that people are experiencing in terms of like the problems they're having in their business, or that their business solves. So it's ultimately driving traffic through there. The other thing is it's about you can monetize by really just understanding how to create content that converts, and you take that same content. Let's just say if you have a strong following on Instagram. So if you have a strong following on Instagram and a brand presence there, you post it there as a reel, it works well. If you have a good following on LinkedIn, like one of my clients, Alex Sheridan, he's like, we could say like video king of LinkedIn. He crushes it there with his TikTok videos. So it's really just about creating the most evergreen form of video, a short form video, to convert and attract clients.
Awesome. And because I know the stuff Alex has done in the past, and I've, your own, like you both kind of, and then we had Todd Clauser on earlier this month. I don't know if you know Todd as well, but a lot of people do the conversation, right, based TikToks where you are talking to yourself as a different character. Is from a kind of style standpoint, is that something that I don't know works for you for a particular reason, or something you would recommend other people try as a format?
So I would say that skits, what you're referring to as a skit, I would say it really just depends on how comfortable you feel. I think at the end of the day, video is just energy transfer. Like it is more about how you feel most confident. How do you feel that your energy comes across the screen the best? So that's one format. I wouldn't say that it works for everyone across the board because it really has to do with your passion and your energy. So that is just one video format, but there's many different others.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that as the response, right? It's not one size fits all with any of this stuff. And that's a little more involved, and you got to be comfortable, right? Kind of getting out there and playing different parts and so on. So I guess with that in mind, where do you think is a good place for people to start? Like if somebody was doing their very first TikTok, and they were a little, I don't know, worried about getting in front of the camera or whether they're doing it properly, what do you think that easiest first video is?
I would say the work can even start before someone gets on TikTok. So before even like opening the app, I think if someone struggles to get friendly with the camera, if you don't have any experience as a video creator whatsoever, I would actually recommend that person take 2 weeks, record yourself talking about any topic you're passionate about on your phone, your camera roll, delete it afterwards, don't post it anywhere. And that just gets you into the mode of, you know what, I'm going to get comfortable. I'm going to treat the camera as a friend and just starting to relax and ease up. Because I think that a lot of the times there's so much pressure and expectation, especially when you see graphics or statistics of people going viral or all these things. And sometimes we can compare ourselves. Take the weight off, take the expectation off by easing into it.
I think that's a great piece of advice, right? And we've heard this before. I want to say it was last year during First Videos Month, but somebody suggesting that just the exercise of getting in front of the camera, regardless of whether it's posted or not, is going to gain you some comfort in that space. So I think that's a winner. I like that strategy. Okay, so we talked about that first video, and how you might get to it and how you might get comfortable with the camera. Do you have a strategy, like in terms of a strategy for your TikTok campaign that you would recommend as a good first strategy to start with, or a strategy to get started? Because I butchered that question.
Yeah, I mean, of course, this depends on every person's goals in terms of, I don't believe there's like one area that like fits everyone. It does have to be tailored to the goals and the purpose of why you're using TikTok and how you're using it. But I would say in general, like something that I particularly think is a good place to start is to make a Venn diagram. And in one circle, jot down the things that you're knowledgeable about, you're passionate about, you have experience in, something that you're like, I can talk about this for 3 to 5 years, something that you're obsessed with. I would also say to, in another circle, something that you're learning in terms of in the other big circle of Venn diagram. It talks about the things that you are learning, that you like, you enjoy, but something that you don't totally dominate, something that you yourself are in the process of learning more about. And in that middle section, I would write down the 3 most common questions that come up in the topics of these 2 things that people ask. People would ask, especially if they're common questions that your clients have, and you're looking to drive traffic for inbound lead conversion. I would say it's a good place to start.
I like that as well. Very good starting points. Yeah, get comfortable on camera. You don't have to post it. The Venn diagram to kind of figure out the places where you can really start going with your content. That is awesome. Does anybody have any questions at this point? If so, feel free to pop them in the chat, or you can do your little hand raise. Tristan's got a question. What do you got, bud?
Hey, Kirsten, big fan, by the way. Thanks for doing this today. How do you balance like creating content for your 2 different areas? So you've got your personal finance, but also your like video coaching. And when you think about creating video that addresses, pain points of a client, like how do you balance those 2 for yourself? Because I'm in a similar situation. I have a full-time job creating video, but I have my own company creating video. And like, how can I do both at once and make that personal brand kind of, cover both business operations, I guess? Or how do you navigate that for yourself?
That's a good question. So I would say that your industry is actually easier because it's the same niche. In my case, I have one TikTok account, if that helps you. I have one TikTok account where I solely focus on financial wellness on that account. It's my only account. I navigate both areas on LinkedIn well because the way that I grew my brand there, that's why I talked about finance for a long time and I posted TikTok content. And because of that, what I was naturally reposting from my TikTok account, people started asking me for help. In your case, I want to ask you, where is your biggest personal brand? Like, where's your biggest audience on your social media platforms?
So I'm on LinkedIn exclusively. I have plans to do TikTok. So this is, just part of my homework, getting ready to do that. But really I post to my company page and my personal page, where right now I'm creating video content exclusively for like my employer. And I want to also incorporate stuff for my own business, but sort of like competing with myself for my own brand, I guess, is where I get wrapped up, right?
Okay. So in terms of, that's where creating content on TikTok that is to the audience that you're trying to reach, and the audience that you want to have, not just now, not the audience you have, but the audience you want to have. Creating content on there and reposting that on your personal is, I would say, a solid strategy, particularly because personal pages on LinkedIn, they get much more reach than company pages. So
thanks.
Excellent. Yep. Okay, we did have, sorry, I've got a chat question that came in, Kirsten. Oh, we got 2 now. So first we'll start with Johnny Huff is asking, is there a particular demographic or role professionally that would be ideal for TikTok? Is it used more for quick editing abilities, or, I guess we'll do 2 questions there. First, demographic or role professionally that you think works best for TikTok?
Okay, I have a question for you, Mr. Anonymous, because I don't see or hear you. But what industry are you in? What's your niche?
Jen, you can,
I'm in telecom and cabling and wiring. So I'm a telecom consultant, and then also we do contractor work. So in cabling and wiring of businesses.
Okay, so in terms of your question, are you asking, is there space for myself on there in terms of attracting inbound lead gen for my business? Is that what you're asking?
More so like what kind of as a contractor per se, unless you're doing like in my brain, I'm thinking like custom cabinetry, bathrooms, flashy stuff. But we're more of like an essential, so we cable wire buildings so they can have internet and Wi-Fi. It's not really like necessarily a sexy particular industry. So like I'm wondering, like, would it be an appeal for that particular demographic on TikTok? Then as I was thinking about it, I mean, we sometimes want to demo our work like before and after, but that'd be something that we would display to a client, not necessarily to the general public. It's not like people are like seeing and go, "Ooh, hey, I want Wi-Fi," so it's like a little different.
I have a client. I have a question for you. Are your clients on Google, Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Are they on Google? Okay. TikTok is becoming an SEO platform. You can look it up, especially for a B2B space. I talk about this in one of my programs, especially for B2B. I cover this deeply, but because of the turn that TikTok is taking, your TikTok videos are being featured on Google if you understand how to make content that's searchable. So when clients, like for example, they search up one of my clients that he's an attorney, they search up content about these questions, they can find him on Google. So from TikTok. So the point is, it's not so much about the platform itself, but more about the doors that it opens, if that makes sense. There's tons of articles out there too you can look up in terms of TikTok becoming an SEO platform. But essentially, we could say it's becoming into like a mini YouTube. Last year, it surpassed the amount of traffic that Google had actually. So the moment that Google is partnered with TikTok because they want their content to be featured on like the first page when you search stuff, the thing is they're going to show someone else's content or your content, but they're showing content.
Okay, understood. Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
And then I think, John, you also had a question about the editing abilities.
Well, she kind of answered it with the second part.
Okay.
I was gonna say, because I was gonna say, like, do we want, like, does it, when I'm thinking of the demographic of TikTok, is like most of us probably just catch a funny video and then we go down the rabbit hole of watching videos of, but then I realized, as she said, as a platform, it's almost like us having a presence on Facebook. Just because we have it as a place for reviews and it's tied to and it optimizes us online. So if TikTok is the platform that has that optimization ability, I think it's good that we have a presence on there, but not necessarily for the purpose of promoting it for entertainment purposes, but for another place that we could display our products and services, but not necessarily expecting for it to be like, flashy capture or draw.
Excellent. Yeah. And that's I know folks who are having a lot of success doing stuff that's pretty, not flashy, right? It's not the entertainment side, just a bit of education. You can do it that way.
Right.
All right. So we've got next up, it's Lynn. Which platform works best for TikTok? I'm assuming computer, tablet, or phone. And is there a difference, between, say, shooting on a tablet or a phone?
I would, usually your phone is going to be best. You can use it on your tablet too. Your computer, I don't really use it on computer. Majority of people, they use it on mobile. So, yeah.
As I think that came up in one of our previous conversations this month. On the computer, you can't create content either, as I understand it. It's all about your phone, which I would imagine would be the same on a tablet, right? So,
yep. Exactly.
All right, cool. And next person who had their hand up was Andy. Andy, do you want to hop on and ask your question?
Yeah, I think you've just answered my question, which was going to be, how do you take content from one platform to another? So if I put something onto YouTube Shorts first, is that a different audience to TikTok? And also, how do I take what I've made on YouTube to TikTok? Obviously, I'm assuming I can't take the music.
Yeah, that is a great question. Particularly in terms of, so are you talking about you've created long form content on YouTube or micro form content? Like what type of content is this we're talking about?
What we have at the moment, we've been making, I do a thing for the mainframe community, and we're trying to reach out to the younger audience as well. So we've identified TikTok as the route for that, but possibly it might be also YouTube Shorts. We don't know, because it's very much an unknown area at the moment for us. And what we're trying to do, we're trying to reach out to new people. And I've found so far that even just trying to take something from one format, when it's made as a video, and taking it from YouTube onto Instagram or somewhere, that even though it looks the same, it's cropping and resizing. And then I've got issues with YouTube that they're providing music in a YouTube short. So I'd have to just take the video, but not the soundtrack. So I was just a bit, obviously the key for a lot of it is repurposing content. So how do you take it from one platform to another? Could I take TikTok to LinkedIn with music? Is there any kind of licensing issues?
No licensing issues. All my clients, they've gotten over 40,000 views on LinkedIn by repurposing their TikToks on there. But again, this is a video made for TikTok and repurposed everywhere else. It's the traffic. It is a form of content that allows you to scale everywhere. I think this is like a very specific question. If you want to privately message me on LinkedIn, you're welcome to, because I don't know what your YouTube content looks like. This is like very hard for me to diagnose.
It doesn't at the moment. That's the issue. We dabbled a little, then we stopped. So at the moment on LinkedIn, as an example, I grew an event from about 300 people to 1,000 people, which is huge for the mainframe. So we're getting bigger events than you get in like IBM or the share events. So we're a bigger event, but in order to go and reach like the younger audience, the new people coming in, we want to sort of find a way of talking to them and bringing them to our event. And
right.
We haven't got any content yet in a short format in YouTube Shorts, on Instagram or TikTok. We haven't done any of it yet, but that's something we're looking at next.
So Kirsten, can I jump in here for a second? Because I think I have a good answer for Andy, which is that from other folks that I've talked to on this, always start with TikTok if you can, if you haven't created it, because you can download videos directly from TikTok in their full, in full resolution and use them anywhere. Whereas if you start, creating or putting it somewhere else, sometimes it's harder, right? Like I use
that's what I found.
Yeah. When I use this as an example, this is getting streamed to LinkedIn, but there's no way I can get it off of LinkedIn, right? Whereas TikTok,
exactly,
they make it easier for you.
The other thing is, like, for example, if you can actually create it off TikTok, like, for example, maybe you can use it with like CapCut or something, makes it like just better quality. Again, if you want to talk more on this, shoot me a message on LinkedIn. I can talk probably 45 minutes on this, but I do have a time limit. So you're welcome to message me, Andy, and I'm happy to see how I can best support on LinkedIn.
Lovely. Thank you.
Awesome. Great question. Christos, you are up.
Perfect. I think you can hear me. Amazing. Kirsten, Neil, thank you so much for the live stream. Kirsten, I want to ask you, when you start from scratch, a brand new account, what would be your strategy for the first, let's say, 15 or 30 days? What would you do? How often would you post? And how would you start your account?
In terms of posting, so again, I would say post to what you can stick to, but ideally, I would say once a day. I would say once a day, 6 days a week. Especially, I think it also just depends on your experience as a video creator, or if are you a video creator coming from YouTube? Are you a video creator coming from Instagram? Again, this varies. Why? Because I have some people, they come to me from Instagram. They've been making reels for a while. They're very good. They can post 3 times a week. They get very good traffic. But again, they're seasoned creators. So if you're new, 6 times a week is probably going to be better, just because the quantity is going to lead to the quality in that aspect.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. And I also have like an old account with 10 videos and some followers. Does it make sense to use this account, or should I start a brand new account? Does it make a difference?
Not really. Each video is treated individually on TikTok. So if you have videos that you're embarrassed of, you can always private them, or have it to friends only as well, and just start from scratch. That's the beauty of it. Each video is treated individually. So unlike LinkedIn, where kind of like the performance of a previous post impacts the next one, each piece of content stands alone. That's why I like TikTok. So let's just say you had one that flopped, only got maybe 600 views. You still can have the next one get 5,000 because each piece of content stands alone by itself.
Okay, perfect. That's clear. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Excellent. That's great stuff. That is, and yeah, for anybody who's not kind of gotten into TikTok at all, that is the biggest differentiator between it as a content platform and others, is that it's about the content. The algorithm looks at the content. It doesn't look at the following that you already have. And we do have another question here. Just jumping up. I think I lost it. Oh boy. Jen asks, is it professional or okay to use copyrighted music on TikTok? I see lots of TikToks and Instagram videos that use copyrighted music, even as a small business. But as a business, will that get me in trouble? That's an interesting question, Jennifer, because it does on YouTube, right? You can get dinged with a copyright violation. So, Kirsten, do you have any thoughts on that?
That's a great question. Honestly, I would say if you use evergreen sounds within TikTok, so just sounds that are, we could say like classic violin or ones that are simple. A lot of people use background music in their content. Never had a problem with taking it down. However, I do suggest to not really focus on the music, because the music is not going to make or break a video. It's more about the quality of the content, and the quality of the content is not driven by hashtags and all these little things. It's more about the message. How valuable is it? What is that piece of content motivating someone to do? Because a lot of the times, and I will say this, I myself in the past, I've gotten caught up in the number of hashtags, the posting time, the cover, all these little tiny details that at the end of the day do not make or break a video.
Excellent. Those are the little elements to tweak after you're making great content, right? So awesome. Christos forgot to ask, when we start from scratch, personal or business account? Kirsten, what do you think?
I would say personal is great because number one, you have access to more sounds. The other thing is I find that it just puts away people less. The other thing is like business accounts, they used to be better than personal because you could add a link in your bio before you had 1,000 followers. But now on both accounts, you need 1,000 followers before you can add a link in your bio. So I would say just go with personal. People connect with personal brands. And I like it because it forces you to make content that's good.
You want to hit that 1,000, right? So excellent. Yeah. Good advice there. Jennifer's got a second one here. Are are people using anything extra to shoot, your typical TikTok videos like mics, audio, lights, tripods, or is it all just break out your phone and go for it?
Well, what do you use to currently record video, Jennifer? I would like to hear from you. What do you use and what do you feel most comfortable with?
You can pop that in the chat if you want, or just a phone now, but the quality could be better.
Okay, so if you're using just a phone and your lighting is dark, I honestly just use my phone. Personally, myself, I would say if you're able to stand next to a window where there's a good light, stand off to a degree. Sunshine is natural lighting is some of the best lighting. If you struggle to get good natural light in your home, then a ring light is going to be your best friend. In that case, Amazon has some great ones for $20. A ring light is going to be good. In terms of audio quality, I use my phone a lot of the times. Sometimes I also I have some old Apple's earbuds, not even the AirBeats Pros. These are the earbuds with the wire. I stick it in my phone and I use that for crisper audio quality. But I am probably one of the scrappiest video creators. So yeah, I'm just being honest. If you see my old videos on TikTok and on LinkedIn, a lot of them are done in my car. Literally just in my car. So and people do not care about that. Still get lots of passive recurring traffic and revenue. So it's more about the message and the energy.
Excellent. That's great advice. And yeah, the ring light, I worked in studio and everything for years, never used a ring light. Now yeah, Kirsten's spot on with that. It gives good, very flattering lighting, and it works out really well. So if you want lighting that works well, outside's always great. And Jennifer, I can shoot you if you want. We've got a freebie course where we go through the basics of how to get your lighting and stuff in its best shape without having to buy anything new. So, all right. Anybody else have any questions? If not, I'll get back to my list, but TikTok questions, it looks like we got time for maybe one or two more. No. Okay. Wait, Nick's got one. Thanks, Nick.
No problem. Kirsten, thanks for being on this and sharing your knowledge with us. This just sort of popped up because I was watching or listening to a webinar on proprietary information and things like that yesterday with two lawyers, and scaring the heck out of me a little bit with the question that I have for you is, so when you think about photos and all that other stuff that people are sharing on there for business gain, have you heard of any issues that TikTokers are having with people using or reusing stuff that doesn't belong to them?
Well, one of the great things is that the ability to watermark your content. Shade Zerai, she just puts her username in all of her videos. This is not TikTok watermark. She just has it edited in there. I'll type in her name in the chat so you know who I'm talking about. But I think at the end of the day, anyone that's focuses on that in terms of, here we go, that's her name particularly. I think the thing is are you willing to kind of overlook the small things for a greater impact? Because just with any platform, people are are there going to be trolls or haters? I'm well, if you've never gone viral on LinkedIn and you go viral on TikTok, obviously, because it's a tsunami, or a big wave. Yes, you're going to find fish, but you're also going to get some seaweed. You might get some crabs there, some Karens. So just like with anything, there's always, good and bad. The thing is, are you willing to overlook we could say, the texture of an avocado or like of a fruit or something, and think about more like the overall benefits of it. So those are my 3 cents.
So some good and bad. Yeah, just that's how a lot of people have asked about privacy and there's concerns about that tied to TikTok. And my response is typically, well, like if you're on Facebook, if you're on LinkedIn, like they're all getting all the same information on you. So the only distinction is where the company's headquartered, which is not an issue for a lot of people and maybe an issue for others. So yeah, always take the good with the bad, kind of, be aware of what you're getting into. But all right, so I think we'll let Andy have the last question here, and then we'll do a little wrap up, and we'll see if maybe, if anybody wants to stick around a little longer, and we can continue to discuss. So go ahead, Andy.
Very simple question. On LinkedIn, obviously, you have the 5 hashtag rule, and you can find out how much visibility each hashtag has in terms of a reach. Is there something out there where there's a rule that says you only have a certain number of hashtags when you make a post? And is there any way of finding what are the better hashtags to use? So example, on LinkedIn, you've got cloud computing, security, cybersecurity, etc. And it makes a big difference using the right hashtag. Is that the same on TikTok?
So on TikTok, hashtags do not determine how much visibility a post gets at all. Hashtags are irrelevant. The only thing they do is they categorize your content for the algorithm. When you're using hashtags, instead of using hashtags that describe the content, you want to use maybe 1 to 3 that describe the audience of who you want to put the piece of content in front of. So let's just say 6-figure business owners or SaaS CEOs, millennial moms. This can also be a psychographic too, coffee lover. So, I mean, I've had clients with videos with no hashtags get over 1 million views, still have record sales. So they do not make or break a video on TikTok.
Thank you. Yeah, we're not trying to sell anything. We're just like all volunteers, but we're trying to reach a new audience as such.
I get it. Makes sense.
Excellent. Okay. And I think with that, we'll bid the live stream audience adieu. Thank you to all of you who joined us via live stream. And thank you to everybody who's in the meeting with me here. Again, don't miss the next meeting that's coming up on Thursday, August 4th at 8 p.m. Eastern. Features podcast producer Carl Richards. Get video podcast ready, 5 myths holding you back from success. That event is published at events.vidwheel.com, and you can find that in the description of this live stream. So with that, I say